Betrayal, a complex, unsettling theme. Betrayal is not just an act, it's an experience that cuts deep into the fabric of our emotions and relationships. It's a betrayal of trust, a crack in the foundation that holds two people together. The idea of being deceived by someone you care about can feel deeply unsettling, and yet there's something almost paradoxically fascinating about the topic. Betrayal forces us to confront our vulnerabilities, our fears of inadequacy, rejection, or being overlooked. It challenges our sense of self-worth and even the way we view the people closest to us. When we think of betrayal, we often picture the dramatic moments, the affair, the hidden secret, the unexpected revelation. However, betrayal can be more insidious. It can start with small signs, gestures, and words that, on their own, don't seem significant. But when taken together, these signals might reveal something much darker beneath the surface. And this is what we're going to dive into today. On the Mente Valiosa channel, we explore the mysteries of human behavior, seeking to understand the subtle nuances of relationships that might be difficult to spot at first. Today, we're going to break down 5 seemingly simple phrases that might appear innocuous, but can, under closer scrutiny, reveal hidden truths about emotional distancing, secrecy, or even a potential betrayal. Before we begin, I invite you to hit that subscribe button right now. If you enjoy deep dives into human dynamics and want to gain insights into relationships that will transform the way you see others and yourself, this channel is for you. Also, make sure you turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts as we go through these examples. Which phrase hit home for you? Have you experienced something similar? Drop a comment and let's start a conversation. Now, let's jump in. 1. I've decided to start going to the gym. When someone says, "I've decided to start going to the gym," it sounds entirely innocent, right? On the surface, it's a positive declaration about taking care of one's health. After all, physical well-being is something we should all prioritize. But what if this sudden shift in behavior isn't about health at all? What if it's a reflection of something else, something more personal or even secretive? Imagine this: a partner who has never been particularly interested in fitness suddenly starts spending hours at the gym, comes home with a new wardrobe, follows a strict diet, and even starts leaving the house more often without explaining exactly where they're going. Initially, you might think it's a positive change. But when these changes come with a noticeable emotional distance, where they no longer share the details of their activities or schedule, it's worth paying attention. The question becomes, why now? And why this sudden shift? Now, don't misunderstand. Changes like these can definitely signify a healthy, personal transformation. But what if this transformation is accompanied by secrecy? What if they stop sharing their experiences with you? When this new routine starts to feel like it's creating distance rather than connection, it's important to ask whether this is a healthy change or if there's something deeper at play. Sometimes the person might be looking to reconnect with themselves, but other times these changes might be a way to hide something or someone. Pay attention to how these new behaviors affect the relationship. Are they drawing you in or pushing you away? Are they eager to include you in their new journey? Or is there a noticeable lack of enthusiasm about sharing this part of their life with you? The key takeaway here is context. Drastic life changes should always be observed within the broader context of the relationship, and if they seem to isolate the two of you, it's time to ask deeper questions. 2. I need some time for myself. We all need space in a relationship. It's healthy to step back sometimes to reflect, recharge, and reconnect with ourselves. But what if this phrase starts to be used more often than usual, without a clear reason? Or what if it begins to coincide with unexplained absences or a growing emotional distance? At first, it might seem perfectly reasonable if a partner says, "I need some time for myself." Maybe they've been stressed, or they simply want to unwind. But when this request for alone time becomes a frequent excuse for avoiding you or spending long, unexplained hours away from home, it's time to take a closer look. Consider the following. Have the dynamics of your relationship shifted? Were you once spending time together doing shared activities, but now they seem more distant, preferring solitude over connection? Is this time for themselves leaving you with unanswered questions or feelings of loneliness? If this behavior wasn't present before, it could be a red flag. Not all me time is a signal of betrayal, but it's important to assess the frequency and tone with which this phrase is used. What's crucial to pay attention to is whether these moments of solitude are being used to resolve personal issues, or if they're becoming a tactic to avoid intimacy and important conversations. When this space doesn't seem to bring clarity or healing, but instead grows into a way of evading deeper emotional engagement, it could signal that something more troubling is occurring. 3. So-and-so helped me with that. This phrase is subtle, almost so casual that it might go unnoticed, but that's exactly what makes it so interesting. So-and-so helped me with that might sound like an innocent mention of a friend or colleague, but it could be a clever attempt to normalize someone's presence in their life. Now think about it. How often do you hear this person's name come up? Is it mentioned with genuine enthusiasm, or does it feel like an attempt to downplay the significance of their involvement? The key here is not just the frequency of the mentions, but the emotional tone behind them. If every time this person is mentioned, there's a sudden shift in mood, whether it's a subtle smile, a nervous laugh, or an overcompensated tone, it could be an indicator of something being hidden. More importantly, consider how these mentions align with other behaviors. Are there moments where the subject of this person seems to trigger defensive responses or mood changes? Do you notice a pattern where the name keeps popping up at unusual times, such as when you're probing about certain behaviors or actions that feel off? These repeated mentions can sometimes signal an attempt to normalize someone's presence in a way that avoids addressing more serious questions. 4. You should spend more time with your friends. On the surface, this might seem like a loving gesture, encouraging you to relax and spend time with people who care about you. But when this phrase is used repeatedly in moments where your partner is unavailable or emotionally distant, it could be a way of creating space, not just for you, but for something or someone else. Consider the context. Do they encourage you to go out with friends only when they're busy or when they seem emotionally unavailable? Does this suggestion come at a time when they're avoiding intimacy or spending less time with you? If this becomes a pattern, it could be their way of distancing themselves without actually confronting the issue. Essentially, it could be a subtle form of emotional withdrawal. Furthermore, pay attention to how this suggestion makes you feel. If it genuinely feels like an opportunity for you to relax and enjoy time with friends, then it's probably coming from a place of care. But if it makes you feel more disconnected, as though you're being subtly pushed away, it might be worth exploring why this pattern is developing. 5. You need to trust me more. Trust is undeniably the bedrock of any healthy relationship. So when someone says you need to trust me more, it's essential to pause and consider the context. Trust must be nurtured through open communication and transparency, not demanded as a shield to deflect legitimate questions or concerns. This phrase often appears when you ask questions or express doubts, and it's typically delivered with a tone of indignation, as though it's unreasonable for you to seek answers. The response might be swift and defensive. You need to trust me more. But here's the kicker. Does this phrase come with transparency, or does it feel like an attempt to end the conversation and avoid further probing? If this phrase is used repeatedly, especially during moments where you're seeking clarity, it's worth considering whether it's a tactic to shut down conversations about deeper issues. The problem isn't the need for trust, It's whether this phrase is being used to stop you from digging deeper into behaviors that should be openly discussed. True trust is built on vulnerability and openness, not on dismissing valid concerns. Final thoughts: the power of context. These 5 phrases might seem harmless, but when observed within the context of the broader relationship, they can be revealing. They may not automatically. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe to the Be Masculine channel. Share this with someone who might benefit from these insights, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Has any of this resonated with you? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Take care, and see you in the